Why did I decide to pursue health and educational psychology and not counseling and not psychotherapy, not clinical, or not any of the many routes that you can follow with a major in psychology? So I've been getting this question more than once, so I just thought I'd make a video about it. So back in 2022 or even 2021, I was not fulfilled at all in my HR role. I was working in recruitment and I wasn't feeling it. It was very self oriented. And to be honest, everything in life is a sale. And I know that we're always selling something personal brand, we're selling our personalities when we meet a person. So I'm not referring to that type of sale. It's just that I wasn't seeing myself doing recruitment or doing HR or doing the corporate world much longer. I knew I needed, I wanted a change. So I thought psychology, like studying psychology, even as an undergrad when I didn't know about conversion masters, was the best option for me. However, that doesn't mean that it was even the right choice. And bear with me on that. I will explain further. So, what I'm saying is that you can help others, you can counsel others, work in a therapeutic type of way, and not necessarily move abroad, do a conversion degree, study a doctorate, and you can choose other routes. That's all what I'm trying to say. When I first chose this route, I thought that was like the only way. Like I see myself as a psychologist, and so now I realize that there's many hats that a psychology can wear with the psychology skills that not even a major teaches you that. I think it's like you are never going to be an expert by just studying the theory. And that, in my humble opinion, was what I experienced during at least my conversion degree, my conversion masters. We studied the theory. We studied neuroscience. We studied cognition. We did a lot of statistics. And I was like, fine, I like studying, I guess, but where is all this therapy? Where is all this working with children in my case that I wanted so bad to work with children in an educational setting? I didn't find that in my conversion master. So sorry to disappoint you if you're trying to pursue this career. I didn't find that through theory, and I don't think a person does ever find like a purposeful career through just going to a classroom. And that's where trainings come. So that's where doctoral trainings come. That's where training to be a whatever, a psychotherapist, a clinical and educational, a counseling psychology comes. That's where you train basically to be whatever you are going to be or whatever you decide to be in the psychology world. Um so anyway, I was very lost after graduating my conversion. I was like, what on earth am I going to do with this degree? Like it was hard for me to get myself out there and get a job similarly or like sort of psychology-ish. So yeah, what you get after majoring in psychology, either bachelor's or conversion, is a bunch of assistant roles. Even those famous AP roles, even those, one, they're super competitive to get into. Two, the salaries are not as great, to be honest. And then third, it is not a guarantee that that'll get you into a doctorate. So I'm not trying to be negative about psychology or anything. It's just my experience, but not only my experience, what I am seeing in my colleagues, my classmates that have also graduated with me. Like all of us study for a year. In my case, conversion masters of full time 1 year. All of us studied this theory, but not any module is there any practical thing or even like more guidance towards the job market. I would have loved more guidance towards the job market after majoring in psychology. So again, I think that's the reason that I created this space in the internet to hopefully reach international students thinking of studying psychology in the UK. Definitely give it a go, but also be aware of how it looks like, at least how it's looking for me. So yeah, be prepared to study a bunch of theories, and not knowing how to apply them yet. They may prepare to enter into this pre-qualified life in assistant roles or entry-level roles, advisory type of roles in schools, mental health settings, or more, and embrace that literally, because it's a long journey and it's definitely something that one needs to think if this is the route for me. If psychology is really what I want to do, then this is what you could expect from this. So, okay, then what is the bright side? So there's loads of bright side. Of course, this is a very rewarding career. Of course, you get loads of opportunities to help other people. Def. But bear in mind that it's not the only one. So you can help people with other careers. And bear in mind the long-term journey before practicing psychology. All of this is just for those practitioner psychology types of routes. So what I'm referring is that this long-term journey, this pre-qualified life, etc., applies to people who want to practice psychology, whether as a counseling psychology, clinical educational psychotherapist, and many, many more. This applies, I would say, to all. Like, it's a long-term journey. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of assistant roles before getting a place on the doctorate. It's a lot of competing with one another for a place again, and it's a lot of getting lost after graduating from either bachelor's or conversion. It's a lot of not knowing what to do with your major, and it's a lot of not knowing also how to sell yourself. So back to what I said at the beginning, I wasn't into sales, I wasn't into recruitment, then hence that's what I put in my job and came to London. But what I'm observing is that psychologists are not good at selling themselves either. Like, they are more into helping others, but I think what I'm seeing in my classmate is that we all struggle to sell ourselves. We think that it's too corporatey. At least bear in mind all of this, my experience, unique experience. And then psychologists also have that stigma of like making money or trying to actually make a profit. If you're building a business based in psychology or you're doing private practice, is wrong, or you shouldn't be charging that amount of money. Why not? You have been spending so much money, time, and energy into training to be a practitioner psychologist. My humble opinion is that yes, you do have the right to charge. Of course, bearing in mind your skills, of course, bearing in mind the competition, but yes, you should be able to price your services based on your skills and training. But not a lot of people in this field tend to think like that. They would see, no, I would rather work for communities and then get like a very low paying salary, perhaps. I don't know, that's my impression from what I'm hearing. I would rather do that instead of like, charging people a lot of money, and how psychology should be more accessible. So I don't know. What do you guys think? So I think that person should then open two types of practices. One, private practice, and then the other for the community. For those families who have low income, even as a volunteer, or even charging very, very low fees. So like two different markets, but not neglecting one's need, like not neglecting the fact that us psychologists spend so much time, many, many years training, that we also want to get something back in terms of money. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think psychologists should get their return on investment basically by opening their private practice, and in that way, of course, charging whatever they need to charge? Um and on the other hand, maybe opening a practice that it's more open to all, open to the community, charging very low fees or no fees at all on a voluntary basis, just to do like that community aspect, charity work. Like, what do you think about that? That's just an idea. And okay, so back into why educational child psychologists and not the others. Reason number one, I always wanted to work with children in a type of therapeutic way, but also being able to help families and teachers. But I didn't know if there was a career in psychology that would do all of that. So then I was like, yeah, I just love education and I just love psychology. Those were my two like sort of passions. And then I came across this career, educational psychology, basically merging the two words. And then the doctorate that I'm about to start is called Child and Educational Psychologist. So basically, I will be a child and educational psychologist after graduation. And why not then child counselor, or why not then child psychotherapy, or even just counseling and just focusing on children, perhaps? I mean, I could do it, I guess, and you could as well. But in my case, I researched a lot about like the education system in the UK. So what I was doing, because I was like, yeah, I love psychology. Let's do a conversion in psychology. So what I researched was that a conversion in psychology, a master's, was a level 6. And in order for me to go into those counseling psychology doctorates, or the other was like even psychotherapy doctor trainings, etc., was that they were asking you for counseling skills level 3 minimum. So I was like, why would I do a level 3 counseling if I'm already doing a level 6 masters? So why would I like do a level 3? Well, I guess again, you could do it. Like, who says you can't? But in my head, I was like, well, if I'm going to train like in a doctoral training, which is again a level 7, and they're going to train me into not only do the therapeutic work, because I researched what is the work of a child and educational psychologist, and it's that like it's therapeutic work, but also is thorough assessment. Like, you do a lot of assessment to identify what are the emotional and social needs of that particular child. So why would I do a counseling skills level 3 in order to get into a psychotherapy or child counseling training if I'm already doing a level 6 masters, and I'm planning, at that time I was planning on doing a level 7 doctorate. So yeah, I'm from Peru and we don't have these types of like levels 3, 6. Like, there's only like bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. And here they have all these like apprenticeship levels. So it was super confusing. And I remember asking around like colleagues, like, what is it with these levels? And they understood, okay, yeah, I've done a master's, that's level 6. So yeah, what happens is, okay, the doctoral training will give me level 7. I think there's even like a postdoctoral thing that you could do, but that's more for academia, not for me that I want to do like practitioner. So anyway, I just decided to stick with educational child psychology and not look elsewhere anymore. Again, maybe because of these like levels didn't make sense to me to do a level 3 when I was doing a level 6. Even though I say it out loud, you could think like, yeah, but it's counseling, which is different than conversion masters in psychology. Yeah, definitely. I mean, who says you cannot do a level 3 on top of a level 6? Yeah, go ahead. That's actually even better if you could, gain more skills on other types of psychology routes. I remember I had a classmate in my master that was actually doing her counseling skills. I think she started at level 1 and then 2 and then 3. And perfect. Like, she was actually doing it on top of the masters. Like, meanwhile doing the masters, meanwhile doing a counseling skills level 1 to 3 or whatever level she was aiming to get. Because in order for getting a counseling skills level 1 to 3, you didn't need a master's in psychology or even a bachelor's in psychology. Like, you could just be a counselor, and that's it. Counselor, child counselor, even if you want to specialize in children. But yeah, I guess that's another route. There's no right or wrong answer, to be honest. It's just a matter of making sure you make your own research, making sure that what you're setting yourself up to resonates with your values. I always say that. And making sure you know the full journey of becoming a practitioner psychologist, perhaps by following me or perhaps by following other psychologists on YouTube and Instagram. So I hope this video explained to me my decision process and my, I guess, challenges as well of studying this career. And I hope you make the right decisions for your career in psychology. But as I have already said it, but just the fact that you're meaning to help people through psychology says it all. So best of luck in your journey and see you in the next video. Bye bye.